Boom, and there we are live. There we are live. All right, appreciate it. So everyone, appreciate y'all for tapping in. Whether you catch the live or you catch the replay, I appreciate it wholeheartedly, 100%. So I'm gonna do my little intro, and then we're gonna meet our guests, and then we're gonna get straight on off into this podcast. It's hot topic. Y'all don't go nowhere. I'm telling you, it's gonna be some fire information. So here we go. Like my little intro. Hello, everyone. I am Paul Wizzo. You like to subscribe to Wizzo Talk, the link is in the description or strolling right across the bottom of your screen. Wizzo Talk 8972 on YouTube. I appreciate your support. If you subscribe to Wizzo Talk, just make sure you hit that notification bell because I post according to my guest availability. I'm not on no type of fixed schedule. Whenever they say they have time, then we go edit. So make sure you hit that notification bell so that way you never miss update from us coming on. And just remember, it is absolutely free, 100% free to follow, like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate your support. So if you're watching this podcast, go and click that link in that description and subscribe to Wizzo Talk and hit that notification bell. And if you'd like to be a guest on the show, I'm always looking for guests. So just send me a message on Paul Wizzo on Facebook, on Messenger, or send me a smoke signal, carry a pigeon, release the pigeons, the bats, or whatever you got to do. Don't worry about a topic because I got plenty of topics for you. So with that being said, let's meet our guests and then we're going to get right on off into this podcast.
What's going on? Salute you, big homie. Glad to be back on, man. You know, it's always a pleasure chopping it up with you and doing our different points of view, having, you know, like you say, barbershop talk, man talk, you know. But my name is Tony Johnson. Depending on where you know me from, you know me as Gangster, you know me as Tony Teray, Arthur. So, you know, I do a lot of things, but today we just here to talk about me, my mindset, and nation building. The owner, CEO, Youth Lead, Wealth is Gangster, and other things that we'll discuss tonight, man. So I'm here.
No doubt, no doubt. And before I get off into it, it just hit me. You know, you knew me before I knew you.
Yeah.
We met in Killeen at the little studio, and you approached me or whatever, and you were doing some podcast stuff, and we shared, and I think we exchanged information or something too. I can't remember, but I was like,
yeah,
man.
I had remembered you from back in the days when I used to play for the Kiwanis, you know, back in back in the Pee Wee League football days. I'm like, man, I know that face, man. I know that face.
That was so. I'm glad I ain't been no bad to nobody because you showed to the school if you wanted to, because I ain't had no idea who you were. But it's been good, man, and we've been chopping it up ever since. I've been following you, and we've been keeping in touch. And I've been wanting to get you on the podcast because I know you're doing a lot of great things. And so I just want to talk about you. Now, I have some questions here. And if I ask anything that's inappropriate or something, just say, Wizzo, I ain't going to be able to handle that, bro. You need to go and go to something else. And they're not in no certain order because I just write them down while I'm at work as the questions come to me and stuff like that. But I know that you talked about the street life and coming up on the streets and different things you've done on the streets. So I have some of that in here. I'll have some questions about crypto stocks and just different things that I know you from to talk about doing. Yes, so I'm going to just open it up and then we're going to go at it. Like I say, if I ask anything inappropriate because you don't know what I'm going to ask, then just let me know. Or as you say, big homie, change it up. When you say that shit, I'll be standing up. I'm like, shit. You said big homie shit.
No, like, we good, man. You good. I'm an open book, man. That's one thing. I like being an open book because I'm not no better than nobody. But, you know, we got to be able to, when you're trying to change the narrative in your community, you're trying to fight against the way we've been programmed and the way we've been thinking a lot of our lives. You have to be an open book because I'm not perfect either. So I'll be the first one to say, and I in my past and what I've been through, I do it proudly. I say it proudly, and some people it might be offensive to. It might not be your cup of tea, but it's me. So it's who come with me.
Most definitely. All right, so I'm gonna get off into one of my little first questions. So first thing I just like to ask, you know, where you from? From where you go to high school? What town you from or whatever, something like that. Just tell us, where you from.
Well, I was born in Taylor, Texas. I was raised in Bartlett to about 9, and then that's when my mom moved to Temple. So I've been in Temple most of my life. So if people just ask me just where you from, I'll say Temple. But to really break down, I always represent Bartlett. I don't ever want to forget the little populated town. And then I always just shout out Taylor because there's a lot of family there and I'm born there. But if you just ask me, I'm from Temple, Texas.
All right, that's what's up. And I know that Bartlett Sergeant. I saw you doing a little video on them here a little while back. I said, oh, they over there at the spot.
Oh, yeah.
Over there.
Yeah. That's the family right there.
All right. So like I said, my questions just kind of mixed up. So I'm gonna go off into one of my first ones, and now I get to where I go on and read it because sometimes I try to just memorize it, whatever. But I'm gonna just read it, and then we just go with it. So tell us about the moment that first pulled you into the street life, and how old were you at that time?
Man, I was about 11. Yeah, I was probably about 11. 10 or 11. I was 10 or 11. When I say 10 when I got curious, and 11 when I first thought about making money, but it really wasn't street money. My first interaction is with business or with street guys is in Mellow Village, and the guys used to be out there, the big homies used to be out there just hustling, getting to the money. And I'm from Bartlett, so this all I ain't never seen nothing like this. My mama had me in the house in Bartlett. We played football with our shoes off. We was country. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah.
So I moved to Mellow Villages. All I smell is weed. There's 40 dudes on the block. So my mom used to always be at work, and I'm the oldest of four. So I started thinking about money because I used to see them making money. And so my first interaction with the street life was taking some of my mama paper dollars, the food stamps, walking to that 7-Eleven that's up the street from Mellow Village, and I bought some hot dogs, and we grilled them, and I was selling them to the big homies that was hustling. That was my first interaction with the street life. So before I got into the illegal side, see, I was born to hustle. I was born to do this. I didn't even know that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, that was the first interaction with it. But officially, first like street. I just I was around some of the big homies, man, and my mom. I'm the oldest of four, and she was always at work, and I just see them make like hundreds of dollars in like hours. You know what I'm saying? So that what got me curious, and and that's when I got started. My big homie gave me a couple of them, and I just never turned back, man.
All right, that's what's up. You about 10 years old, 11 years old, or you grilling hot dogs and making some money on the hot
You know what I'm
dogs.
saying? And I didn't even know what I was doing. I just know that they out there, and it's a way to make money. And my mom left me because I'm the oldest. But if my brother's name needed something from the store, I would have to walk to the store. So I used that food stamp money and bought me some hot dogs and with some buns, and came back and probably made me a quick little $20 or something, $25. But I was happy. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And before I go to my next question, let me ask you: was that the food stamps when it was in the little book with the paper?
The dollars? Yeah, you got to rip out the book. Yeah. Yeah, that's that. Hey, that was my first entrepreneur start right there. Entrepreneurship.
Right. Yeah, that's what's up. I appreciate that. So, and just to any of the viewers that's watching right now, if you have anything you might like to ask Tony, put it in the chat. I'll share it on the screen, and we'll see about if we can try to get off into it and get that question asked for you. So, just moving on to my next question that I got for you. So, looking back, what was one of the toughest lessons the streets taught you about trust, loyalty, and just survival?
Man, it taught me a lot of lessons. I'm trying to think the biggest lesson is no loyalty. That's what I learned that at a young age. It's just no loyalty. And I have some guys, like I got a handful of guys that I've been with since back then.
Right.
But even with them, we've been in and out. We might go 4, 5, 6. You know what I'm saying? Like, life separates you regardless, especially when you start seeing different things. But the biggest thing it's no loyalty. But another thing I would say that a lot of things that the street taught me was survival, right? So even though like I was a runaway, I was hustling, I was skipping school, but I was already raised up right. I was still say yes, ma'am, open up doors, this and that. And I used to get that a lot. Other parents used to be like, "You like the nicest runaway kid I ever seen," because I wasn't bad, I wasn't trying to hurt nobody, I wasn't disrespectful, I wasn't breaking in nobody's houses. I just wanted to get some money and be grown. I guess that's all I wanted to do. It was never to do nothing like real crazy. So that's when I realized that you got to be strategic in these streets. And I learned that at a young age too. So no loyalty, and you got to be strategic to survive. And a lot of guys wasn't. That's why a lot of guys end up in the pen, because they just living. They're not really strategic on a day-to-day.
Right. Yeah. Okay, that's what's up. All right, appreciate that. So if you can talk to a younger you before hustling, what would you warn them or him about and tell them to do differently? If you can talk to a younger you,
Man, I would. First of all, I would have hoped a younger me would have been around the internet age. That would have been a lot better, because I always had the business mind. Like 17 years old is when I started. Me and my big homie started Realer Than Real Records. So business always been in me, but it never was like the full thing because I made so much money in the streets, right? So even in my the music company, I had chicken restaurants, I'd had clothing stores, I'd had music stores, I'd had shoe stores. I didn't always want to be an entrepreneur, but it never was more money than the streets, you know. So that's why I would say the internet, because it's so much knowledge that I couldn't get at stuff I had to learn. And my mom always say, like, I don't know where you got this bug from, because no one in my family did this type of thing. You know, my uncle Kenneth, he made it to the professionals. He played for Buffalo Bills, but even that, it wasn't no entrepreneurship. It wasn't the things I'm on. No one in my family has ever been on. You know, so that's one of the things right there.
No doubt, no doubt. And when you was talking about that money, I was just looking at my next question here, and it kind of falls right into that. So I guess I do have some of these in a little bit of an order. I don't know. I just, like I said, I wrote them down as they came to me at work, you know, for this interview. So now, and I'm gonna just read it like I have it written down here. So they say, now I know you probably made some serious money in the streets. You know, I'm not saying you're not making any money now, but how did you walk away from that kind of lifestyle and that kind of money?
Oh man, that was easy, because man, I see my first 100,000 before I was like 15, 16 years old. So that's why I don't care about money now, because I done seen so much, and it's been times where I thought I'd never be broke again. And then, you know, the laws, just life, you know. And I remember old school telling me, you never gonna win long term in the devil's game. He used to always say that, right? So I started thinking, the crazy thing about it, it was a smoker, somebody I was serving one day, right? And we still friends to this day. And I used to tell him about getting off the stuff, and he used to tell me about, man, you know, the way you think you could be a Fortune 500 CEO, or you can be, and he the one sparked it in me. And today, like not today, but these days we laugh about it because he no longer smokes and stuff, and I'm no longer on that side. But we used to be like, I used to tell him, man, you need to stop smoking, because he was telling me about stocks and this and that. I'm like, man, you're too bright to be doing this, and he's like, well, you too bright to be doing this. You know? That was the first time I even heard about a Fortune 500 company or stuff like that. So that's when I started thinking about it. And like I say, I always want to get over to the business side. But when you're making good money and you don't have that knowledge to really turn to the good side, then you're kind of stuck, you know. And I mean, and I ain't have the knowledge. So, and that's why when I started the CEO Youth League, you know, not to skip up, but I started the CEO Youth League because of the youngster I was. And I wish I had somebody like, I was talking to a 20-year-old today. I said, man, I wish I had somebody like me talking to, like the way I'm talking to him. I was telling him the way I'm talking to you. I wish I had somebody that was telling me, man, go get into your stock, save your money. Man, if you do this for the next 20 years, by the time you're 40, you'll be rich. I ain't had nobody told me none of this stuff, right? Yeah. So that's definitely my guy, Adam, man. He the one told me about owning big companies and stuff like that. And that's when I didn't stop that day, but that was the light bulb started going off about, okay, how do I get into this? So it's been a journey ever since.
Right.
This illegal stuff, man, you got to really be tough-skinned, and you got to be really strategic, because this money is hard, and you don't get no support, especially when you look like this and you talk the way I talk. You're going to get very little support, because people feel like you either got it or you too arrogant, so they don't want to really help you. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't kiss tail like I don't, then you're really in trouble. So I love it now. I love that I did make that crossover, but it just took me years to really, like, I remember it's some years back when I realized I'm like, I actually make more legal money than illegal money. Like I was like, so I was shocked myself. but that's the way I was slowly transforming into the person I am today.
Right. No doubt. All right, that's what's up, man. So okay, so moving on to my next little question here. So, and you already kind of answered some of this. I almost think you can see some of my damn questions or whatever.
Because I promise I thought about that today. I said, I don't know what he's finna ask me. You know what I'm saying?
I never tell anybody what I'm gonna ask, even in barbershop talk. No one never knows what one's gonna bring up, because that way we just keep it open and honest like that.
Keep it going,
yeah, keep it going. So what I'm gonna read up a next question for you. What would you tell? Okay, let me see. What would you tell younger kids today who's going through some of the same things you went through in your early street life? You know, so what would you tell some of the kids there?
The biggest thing, because you know, I actively mentoring a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The biggest thing I always lead with, because I can tell them a lot, but the biggest thing that I see that the kids have a problem with these days, I try to drill into their head, be a leader, not a follower. Because a lot of these kids these days are just followers. And I never had that bug. I never had that an inch of that in me in my life. Like I never owned a pair of Jordans, not because I don't like Jordan. It was because everybody wore them. Like my mom programmed me young to what everybody doing, don't do. So a lot of these kids, when they get in trouble, like I'm talking about like good kids, and I'm like, well, I was just with the wrong crowd. They just can't turn down the, if somebody come with a dumb idea, they don't have enough ball sacks to be like, nah, I'm good. And see, I was like that. And I remember like one of my big homies, he told me he tried to get me in a gang when I was like 12. And I was telling him, like, nah, I don't want to be in no gang. I know real and fake on both sides. I just want to get to the money. And he told me that day I earned so much respect from him because you don't hear the young homies telling the big homies, like, nah, this is the way I see my future, and this is what I want to do, and this is how I'm going to do it. I was telling them that at 12, 13, 14. And I remember my big homie was like, man, like this is probably about 15 years later. He was like, man, I know I'm your big homie, but you really my big homie. Because I started leading at a young age, and he was like, I just respect you so much because most youngsters want to do whatever the big homies want to do. And I just never been like that. So if I had to tell them youngsters, be a leader, not a follower, that'll keep you out of a lot of trouble right there, and then you can build on to that.
Right, no doubt, no doubt. And I will say this: just when you talked about the Jordans, I'm with you right there. I've never owned a pair of Jordans.
Yeah,
I didn't try to buy them, I guess, because no one else or everybody had them, whatever. I just wasn't interested in them. So I don't know.
Yeah. I was just a cross trainer, Air Max, K-Swiss. I was just plain Jane with it like that.
Yeah, no doubt. British Knights, you probably.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so that's the biggest thing, man. These kids got to think for themselves, and most of these kids these days don't. And that's my biggest fight on a day to day. I just talked to a kid yesterday. Why you messing up in school? He don't know. And he's new at Travis, but what he's trying to do is build up a little rep and get, you know what I'm saying? Like I can do dumb stuff too, and I'm so you're trying to out dumb everybody. Like they all trying to out dumb each other. It looks hard, and that's why I wrote the Streets Live to us because that's that's in parts of our culture where we think doing the dumbest stuff is the real or the gangster, and we gotta kill that narrative.
Yeah, no doubt. So where does your drive and motivation come from? I mean, what because I mean, I look at you myself, and back when I was your age, I mean, I'm not that much older than you, but I was nowhere near, where you are and the things that you are. And I did a few little selling some different little things, but that's neither here nor there. But I'm just asking you where do your motivation come from? What motivates you?
Man, just trying this system, man. When I started realizing, I started getting into the history of my people, and then I started looking at like all the traps that was set up for us. You know what I'm saying? And like I always tell the kids, I was like, my name was on a prison cell. I just chose to not show up. And I'll tell them as black boys and men, all of us have a name on a cell somewhere. Now we just got to beat the odds and the statistics and not show up. But they got our names already wrote down there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's my job, is just trying to build a system that beats. I ain't gonna say beats the system because it's a monster, and that's why I always say building a nation within this nation to protect and to preserve and to build and reprogram my group of people. Of course, you can't save everybody, you can't do it for everybody, and everybody don't want to be a part of it, and that's all cool too. But the ones that do, you can really show them a different way, and that's my drive, to really show them like it's not as hard as it looked, man. I was telling the guy today, I said, getting rich is easy. He looked at me like I was crazy. I'm like, it really is. We don't know the ins and outs on how to do it per se, but it's really easy. But the hardest part of getting rich is the person that you got to become. And that's a whole different person than the way we was programmed to be. You know what I'm saying? So you got to actually become somebody you don't even know to get into that lane. And that's the hardest part.
Right, no doubt. Appreciate it. So just do my little old commercial right here for everybody that's watching right now. I appreciate you checking in to Wizzo Talk while we're talking with Tony from the streets to building a nation. Hey, and just remember to hit that subscribe button, like and share. We appreciate it. Yeah. All right, so I heard you talk, and that's why I say I think you could see my face over here.
I promise.
Some of this here. Some of this, but
I know you flowing too smooth, huh?
Yeah, I know you can't see them. And you have no idea what I'm going to ask you and talk about. And like I say, I like to keep it that way, but you touched on some things in there. So I've heard you talk about before about changing the narrative. So just talk to us and tell us a little bit about that. What does that mean to you, changing the narrative? I heard you talk about that. And matter of fact, I've referenced you on one of my podcasts about that same thing right there. I don't remember which one, but I use that reference. So,
but changing the narrative is once again, like I said, the way we was programmed, the way we was taught, the life that we supposedly supposed to live. Like I just want to change that whole narrative, and that's why I'm working on a documentary right now. I got the book called Streets Lied to Us. I got a documentary coming out called Sports Lied to Us, where I'm gonna dive into the sports side of it. And it changing the narrative is just us, like I said, when these kids, they want to be hard, they want to be real, they want to be gangster, and I don't fight that. Like I just show them a different definition of what's real and what's gangster. Right. But the whole change of the narrative part is why our kids even obsessed with even thinking and being like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I got Jewish partners, I got other partners from different cultures, and their kids. And not saying that their kids are saints or nothing like that, but the way that they're raised, they thinking about wealth. They're thinking about starting a business. They're thinking about this. They just have a whole different upbringing. And so I just want to add that, to our culture. Not that everybody going to be in it, but everybody is in it, even if you don't want to be in it. And that's my whole thing is a lot of parents tell me, well, everybody can own a business. Yes, you can. Even if you're not going to physically own a business, you can buy stock. You can go in business with a business partner. You can invest into somebody. We have to find different ways because that's how we grow as a society. And I know a lot of, we talk about, money and everything, but you tell me, you show me where people that's thriving and becoming better people with no money. Money is a part of it. It's not everything, but it's definitely a part of it because it puts you in better situations where you can think better, you can eat better, you can, you know what I'm saying? It gives you more options, and that's what. So changing the narrative is about giving us more options and letting us know that there's more options. I didn't know that it's 1,000 ways to become a millionaire. I thought you had to go play sports, or you know what I'm saying, or a white man had to give you an opportunity. I didn't know with your brain and the way you think and strategize, you become a millionaire off just the way you think. I didn't know that. So that's what I'm trying to inspire the next generation. So when I say changing the narrative, it's basically about the program and just the lifestyle and just the way we think and operate on a day-to-day basis. I want to change that narrative.
All right, that's what's up. And this is not one of my questions, but you have a couple, 2 or 3 LLCs too, right, or something like that? I heard you say.
Yeah.
That's what's up. I thought I heard you say that before. But
yeah, I have 4, and then we're about to do the corporation and trust and all that stuff. So I'm trying to step into the big boys game now, man. It's time for me to level up.
All right, that's what's up. All right, and see that's going into this next question right here. Watch this right here. So as a businessman, what's your overall vision? What's the big goal? You got to name some of that right there at the end of that. So, but now I'm just get you to talk a little bit more about it.
Well, as my overall goal is impact. My overall goal is really in 100 years when I'm not here, if people really look back and say, man, this guy changed his whole family trajectory. This guy changed this whole people that was in his group or whatever, and he still have a school, and he still have this going, and he's 100 years later. So that's the overall goal. But while I'm living, it's just right now I'm just on a real wealth mission, and I haven't been on that since I quote unquote left the streets or whatever. I went straight to the CEO Youth League and straight to trying to mentor kids. And I don't know if that was a guilt thing because I spent so many years in the streets or whatever. But what happened was, in that I end up putting myself in a hole, 6 figures plus, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And not that I regret that or nothing, but what I should have did was put myself personally in a stronger position. Then I could come and be stronger for the community. You know what I'm saying? Instead of using what I had to just roll the dice and hope it pop off, I should have put myself in a stronger position to do that. So like my personal vision is, hey, I'm here to be a billionaire, man. I'm here, and I'm here to talk about it in a way where our people will stop being scared of wealth. Because a lot of our people, when we hear wealth, we hear riches, we hear somebody talking about billionaire status, multi-millionaire status. We tend to look at it in a bad way because that's part of our culture too. If somebody got rich, it's the Illuminati, or he sold his soul, or you know what I'm saying. Yeah. And that's a mind trick for you to say that because it makes you feel better about not building wealth and not having ambition and not, you know. So my new phrase I've been telling people, you can't wealth shame me. You know how people try to fat shame and all this. No, you can't wealth shame me, and wealth don't even always mean money. When I wake up every day, I exercise, I meditate. I got videos talking about how to be a better person, and you know what I'm saying. So wealth is in a lot of things. My life is not wrapped up in the money. The money part is what I can do for the community and for the impact that I want to leave. But wealth is just me, like the relationship we got. It's a wealth. You know what I'm saying? It's just been having guys like you that be like, man, I respect what he's doing. That's wealth right there. That's me building up wealth in the community. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that it's a lot of different ways of wealth. I know we only look at it as money, but we definitely got to have the money part too.
Right, no doubt. And while we on wealth, question number 10, you know, and this is how I wrote it. It says, I gotta ask, where did the name Wealth is Gangster come from? We just talking about wealth. And question number 10 is Wealth is Gangster. So, you know, so how did that name come about to you? Wealth is Gangster.
Well, my rap name is Gangster T. And I remember like, man, 10, 15 years ago when I used to talk with a few labels about record deals, they always wanted me to change the Gangster T part, the gang, you know, just that connotation of just gangster is bad or this and that. So, you know, I none of that ever happened. But the Wealth is Gangster part came from me mentoring the youth and seeing that they want to be gangsters and they want to be real. And I remember being that same youth that want to be a gangster, want to be real. And not that I want to do a lot of dumb stuff that a lot of youngsters doing now, but I understand the mindset. So the Wealth is Gangster part is, okay, if we want to be gangster, you want to be gangster, we all want to be gangsters, let's be gangsters. But let's be gangsters getting wealth. Let's be gangsters providing, being an asset for our community. Let's be gangster and go be able to feed our people. So now we need to have chicken farm, we need cows. So my whole thing is I'm putting a spin on gangster. And I just want it to be more, just more like pro community and pro building instead of just all. Because most of the time when you hear gangsters, that's somebody that's tearing up the community or doing something bad for the community. So that's where the Wealth is Gangster part is. If we want to be gangster, let's build wealth. And that's the most gangster thing you can do is put your family in a position where they won't have to worry about finances for life. That's the most gangster thing you can do.
No doubt. I like that. Respect that. And so I'm going on to my next question, and I'm going to ask you. You talked a little bit about your book, you know, earlier, you know, The Streets Lies to Us. So, of course, you know, Wizzo got his copy of it. I had it a while. So, what I hate that I didn't do is I didn't buy it from you. I bought it off of Amazon. Yeah. I should have got it from you. But anyway, but I just want to ask you, you know, and as you said before, this is not AI written. You wrote this yourself.
I wrote that. Yeah, I wrote that.
You wrote this, and I read it. And I like the fact I only read when I'm at work and stuff like that. And usually it take me a couple of days because I just read for about 20 or 30 minutes or whatever. But this one got my attention and got me off into it. So, but I'm just going to ask you, you know, what inspired you to sit down and write your first book here?
It's just going back to what I've been talking about. It's just the way we was taught and the way we see the world is just the most backwardest thing ever, you know. And I remember I was talking to some kids at Shoemaker High. I'll be going up there a couple of times a year. And just being around those youth, I remember being like lost like that. You know what I'm saying? Like if my partner called me right now and he just finna go kill somebody, I'm not real if I don't go kill somebody with him. You know what I'm saying? Right. You know what I'm saying? So just stuff like that. I'm like, man, all this stuff is a lie. And it has to be the people that made it out to go back and tell them, because most people that do make it out, a lot of people don't, especially unscathed. Like, you know, I've never been to the penitentiary, nothing like that. Mm-hmm. People with my background don't have that that don't have a slate where they can walk away and say that they made it through without going through all that. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to, when I was writing the book, I'm like, man. And that's why you see each chapter is a trap. It's trap 1, trap 2. It's not a chapter 1 or 2. So I'm just thinking about the mindset, the way I used to think when I was a youngster, understanding why these youngsters think the way they do, but just relating to them that's a trap. You know what I'm saying? So it was what I want to do was tell them that that's a lie and that's a trap, but at the same time, give them different ways of thinking about it. Or it was kind of like in some of the parts I was writing, trying to help them make a little money in the streets and get out, even though that ain't the way you should be, like trying to. Right. As me being a former street guy, like you telling me to get out of the streets is not gonna make me get out the streets. You showing me a better way to help me get out the streets. And that's what a lot of the elders don't understand. We want to point fingers and fuss at the youngsters, but we don't give them different options. Yeah. So when I tell a kid to get out the streets, it's because, hey, I got a mentoring group. I can show you about stocks. I can show you about this. I can show you how to get more money with my thrift store. I can show you things that the streets is not going to show you. And that's the kind of program I'm building, because we tell these kids what to do, but no one ever has an option. And then, you know, of course the system don't have an option because they want them to keep messing up, you know? So it's my job. I'm building one.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. And I'm going to ask you how people can find that book. But before I do that, I want to read off this question number 12 of mine, and then you can tie that off in there also. So, you know, you know, you talked about, you know, your barbecue sauce, and I think potato salad. I think you said something about some potato salad you got coming out. I saw about the coloring book. So, you know, I'm going to ask, you know, how did all that come into play? Yeah, I've seen that. And as you talk about that, I want you to make sure you let everyone know, whether they watch it now or they catch it later, you know, where they can find those things or how to get in touch with you to purchase some of those things right there.
Of course, the book is on Amazon, but if you just want to connect to me personally, you can hit me up on Wealth is Gangster. That's on Facebook. That's on Instagram. wealthisgangster.com is the website. And I think, we got the book up there. I think the link is up. So you go to wealthisgangster.com. Anything Wealth is Gangster, you'll be able to track me down. Or you can just hit me up personally, you know, Tony Johnson on YouTube. And I'll make sure we straight on that. Right. And so you said you wanted me to let them know where to get it, and then what was the second question?
Well, and just asking you, you know, how did you come up with, you know, making your barbecue sauce, the potato salad, you know, in the color book, you know, how did you? I know this go way back to the hot dogs, you know, but now we're a different guy, we're a different age, you know. So how did that come up? Oh, you know, I got this barbecue sauce, So how did that come about?
Man, this is just me It's hustling, man, because like I'm still a hustling. I remember some probation officers when I was used to some of the kids I mentored that was on probation, and I still talk with street lingo. So when I'm around probation officers or judges or something, they don't really love it too much. But I tell them these kids understand. But you got to realize I spent more of my life from 10, 11 to about 35, 36. So I'm more of that still than I am of this person I'm becoming. You know what I'm saying? So my lingo and understanding is still more on that side. So long story short, I'm just grinding, man. Like I realized a long time ago, I'm 43. I think I done had 4 jobs my whole life. Like I just I learned at a young age that I'm not a working, you know, I just can't do it. You know what I'm saying? And the last job I had, I was at the machine, and I was like, you know, man, I'm probably making $300-400 a week then. This is probably 15 plus years ago. And I was like, man, I can make this selling. If I sell 20-30 shirts a week for $10, I'll make the same. And ever since that popped in my head, I've never worked again. And so my thing is I'm just always hustling, but it's even more than that. It's branding. So right now I'm thinking about growing a multi-billion-dollar corporation, right? Mm-hmm. So in that corporation, I always tell people, the way I look at life is I got my 5 building a nation rules. Got to feed yourself, house yourself, clothe yourself, educate yourself, employ yourself, and then protect it. So when you talk about the chicken farm, the beef farm, and then, you know, us growing to raise farm, that's about feeding yourself. The Wealth is Gangster CEO Youth League, that's the educational part. You know, Shield of Valor, that's the security company, that's protect yourself. So my rules, I'm actually building that through my businesses. And barbecue sauce, we got a condiment line coming out, we got seasoning and all that. But what it is building my own nation. We got to be able to do all these things. Like a lot of us talk about the white man and the system and this and that. And I know a lot of us is capping because we wouldn't know what to do if the white man left the United States tomorrow. Most black people go crazy because we don't know nothing about sewage. We don't know how to run a city. You know what I'm saying? So I dab into the real things. Like if Temple was a flat place with nothing here, who the people I need? The plumbers, the gardeners, the teachers. Right. So that's my mindset every day on how we build that, you know what I'm saying? So like the barbecue sauce and the coloring book, this is part of my education. So it's cute. I had a lady, she can make this. And I've been trying to do this in a crossword puzzle book for years. I seen her do this. I cashed out, but she said, you don't be playing. I said, man, when I see something, I run with it. I'm not going to think. So this is the educational part, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so we got the car stuff, so we touching all lanes because a lot of black people in business, we brothers cooking, so I cook every day. But a lot of us, we tend to only cook and do barbers. And black people, that's why when I was so happy to have the thrift store, because black people, we're not doing no thrift stores. We need to have our own Goodwill. We need to have our own, cleaning out houses and dumpster services. So these are the industries I'm getting into, because to really build a city, you can't just have barbershops and a barbecue place. You got to have a few more businesses than that. I heard you talk about that, like we need to shop black. I'm like, well, after you get your hair cut and you buy a plate, ain't too many more black products out there. So my whole vision is keeping sure that we got a bunch of different black products from every lane, from the food to books to everything.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And I've been doing a lot of research on that. I'm not going to bring that up into this podcast because it's not what it's about right now. But I've been doing a lot of research.
I would love. Just let me know. I'll be a part of that podcast. I'll be a part.
No doubt. And a while ago, you was talking about chickens. Question number 13 right here. How in the world did you get into raising chickens? Because I saw one time you posted you had some eggs, some fresh eggs. And I think during that time, I think eggs was damn near like $10 or something.
Everybody was laughing at me until they hit that spike.
It did. So, and so I'm like, man, how in the world this guy get it? So let's just show you. See, I'll be watching you and I'll be following you and be checking that. I don't stroll Facebook all the time.
Just stay tapped into what's going on.
What's going on. So, just to ask you, how did where you get off into raising chickens?
Man, survival. Like this is what I'm trying to teach our people. Like we complain about a system. This is where I started thinking about. I used to be like, why people won't really buck up to the system with us. I started thinking like about 8, 9, 10 years ago, but I started realizing like, how can you? Like if the police kill your son or daughter and you might go march, you might go protest, but by next week, you got to go back to work or you waiting on them to send that check, right? So you can't even really go against the system because the system still take care of you. You know what I'm saying? So until we in a position where my people can get fed by black people, we can get employed by black people, we can, we can go to school by black people. Until we in that position, we gonna always be in a bad position. And so that's my thing. So the chickens was just another thing it was educational, but it was me even teaching me that we can do this, because I used to take pride in I'm a HEB baby. I don't know nothing about this, I don't know nothing about that. And now I'm on a mission to not need the grocery store in the next 2 years. I don't want to have to go to the grocery store unless I want to. That's part of me building my system.
Right, no doubt. And I think, and I'm not sure, but didn't you take the kids out there to the chicken place?
Chicken, my beef farm and everything. Everything I do, I don't care what business it is, I wrap it up with educating the kids. You know what I'm saying? I got to put it all together because it's my life. I'm making money, but at the same time, it's educational because I'm learning too. While I'm teaching them, I'm learning too. And I had 2 kids that had been in beefing, and I guess they was fighting or whatever in school. And the parents was calling me because I had them with me at the chicken farm. And I'm like, man, they out here smiling, happy. And then it took me back to when I was a youngster. And like, I never been a violent person. I never been a person that thought I was this biggest gangster and wanted to hurt nobody. Right. But I understood when I was in certain rooms, I got to be ready for whatever, right? So a lot of these kids, they're not bad kids, but when they're in certain environments, they gotta have that look like I'm gangster. I kill you, I hurt you. They gotta do that in those environments. So it's our job to change the environment so these kids can be really who they are.
Right. No doubt. All right, respect that. Appreciate that. Somebody getting off in my notes here, trying to text me or whatever. Maybe lose my spot right here. So now I've heard you say, that you don't have any kids. So I'm on, and you've answered some of this a little bit ago, but it's in my question, so forgive me for kind of repeating a little bit. Now I've heard you say that you don't have kids, so why make it a priority to work with kids?
Well, it's really not a priority. It's like really been my mission. Like I'll be posting my first pic every now and then. I'll post my first youth event was in 2000. When I was a youth, I was still out there in the streets heavy. So I always wanted to give back. I always used to have a backpack giveaways, and I've been doing that since I was. So that was just, I don't know, that's just part of who I am. I always run to look out for kids. But what happened was I stopped maybe about 5-6 years ago giving out kids, giving backpacks and stuff. I'm like, I need a bigger impact. I don't knock nobody for giving out turkeys and giving out stuff, but that's not really changing the lives of our people. So I want to be a part of stuff that's really changing lives. And so that's why I was like, we need to have our own school. We need to have our own mentorship. I need to teach these kids how to make money, because if I can teach you how to make money, the likelihood of you going to the streets, the it starts going down. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So and showing them some real money, not no little couple dollars, like showing them how to make some real money. You know. So like yeah, like just the kid thing is just it's always been a part of me. I got 12 nieces and nephews, and you know I'm still young and energized, so I still got mine coming too. You feel me?
Right. No doubt. No doubt. No doubt. No doubt. Already. I sure appreciate all this right here you share. And once again, when you was talking about teaching them how to make money, question number 15. It says a lot of kids today are stuck on their phones and social media. How do we reach them and open their eyes to things like crypto, investing, entrepreneurship, and things that you have talked about before? You know, so they stuck on their phone. But as you said earlier, you know, man, the internet, if you'd had the internet probably back then, where would you be now?
Man.
So how are we going to reach them to stop just strolling this and start getting off into what that internet can help you do? So how do we reach those people like that?
Man, we gotta show them it's real. Like the streets grab me and grab most of these youngsters because they see it in real time. You know, like when we tell them to be good and go to school and you might make it to the pros one day or you might get a job one day, they don't care about that. They walk outside, they see somebody getting money today. You know, so and that's what I tell a lot of the elders. Like, and I was one of these kids. That's why I know it. That's why the way I talk to the kids is different because I'm actually living it. So
yeah.
When I talk to them about doing right, I can say I'm doing right because I could have easily slid back. You know what I'm saying? Like when I tell them about, man, I'm about to be a multimillionaire off doing stuff like this, and they're like, for real, you doing chickens? And so the first thing is they need to see it. I want to be in the streets because I saw it. Like I walked out my door and I seen it. So and they, like I had one youngster, he's probably like 12 years old. He said I never had a older black man talk to me the way you do. And that's sad for a 12-year-old boy to not have a black man in his life that tells him about that he's strong and he can do this. And that's crazy to be that age and never had nobody to really build your self-esteem up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's a lot of what my whole program is about, is showing, because we have to show. And I'm going to be doing a podcast with one of the brothers from the Nation of Islam. They had reshared a coach. You probably seen it was a viral clip of a coach crying and screaming at a boy, telling him he gonna be dead if he don't stay in practice. And and I feel it when you see it. You could tell that guy pouring out his heart, and there's nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. But that's not gonna affect that kid, because that kid looking at him like, "But coach, you struggling. You at a job you hate." And it's not even to disrespect the coach. I'm just saying from a kid's point of view, this is how the kid look at the adult. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you barely making it, you at a job you hate, you and your wife hate each other. You're a bad example of what you're trying to tell them to be. Right. So, they need to see, like when the kids see, oh man, you out there hanging with Rick Ross, oh man, you balling, oh man, you doing this. Yeah, but I'm doing it from a positive standpoint. You know what I'm saying? And I'm getting to this money on a positive this and so they need to see it, and then they can take it on. Like when they see me with chickens, they be like, oh man, that's crazy. What you doing with chickens? Now they see it.
Yeah.
Black man, mouthful of gold from the areas that you from. I'm feeding, I'm doing the chicken. So my biggest thing is we got to be able to show, and the ones that can't really show it need to bring the people around that can show it, because if just us talking and pointing our fingers, it's not gonna do it. Right. It's just not. And I know that kind of sounds, because a lot of people get offensive when I say stuff, but I'm just speaking from the kid's point of view and the person that used to be that kid. There's nothing disrespectful to the adults that's trying to do, because I know they mean well, but I'm just saying, you're not going to, 90% of the kids are not going to get saved because you're crying and screaming and telling them to stay at football practice. And then on top of that, you telling them that the only way they're going to make it in life is on this football field, when we know only half of 1% going to make it. So you still, even if he say yes sir and he go all the way out of sports, and then at 18 he find out, like I get a lot of kids at 18, 19, 20 depressed, sad, because they was told their whole life they go into the pros, and now the reality is they not even cut out for college. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying we got to be real with these kids, and while they in sports, that's cool, but we got to start building them up. Like, I don't care if you don't never make it in sports, buy a team. I'm gonna show you how to do this. I'm gonna show you how to build this. I can show you how. I had talked to a kid yesterday. He was getting in trouble. I said, man, I can show you how to be a millionaire before you 18 if you just stay out of trouble and start showing up to these mentoring sessions. And I can literally, he's 13 years old. If you give me 5 years doing what I show him to do, I can show he'll be worth way more than most 18-year-olds. And it's that simple. But we got to build a program, and that's my whole thing. I'm trying to build a program because a lot of these kids get the good program or the one event a year.
Yeah.
Negativity is 24 hours a day. Positivity got to be 24 hours a day. They need somewhere. That's why I was trying to do the house of resources. I wanted a location where these kids can come every day, all day, be around some good influential people, and this could be their second home. So that's the system that we have to build.
Right. And at the House of Resources, I was noticing you bringing in different people to talk to the kids and share different things. I saw some of the videos and got to step by there once or twice or something like that. So yeah, you was doing some really good things over there.
Because like once again, they got to see it. So I had kids see I had a millionaire come in and talk to him. Like I ain't be no millionaire when I was a 8-9-year-old. The guy that had the most money in Temple back then was a kingpin. You know what I'm saying? So I want them to see when he pulled up in his little 2-seater Benz or this and that, because they need to see it. And they realize, like, hold on, you can get that doing good too. Like I was told you can get it doing bad, but I didn't know you can do it doing the right things and still get it. You know what I'm saying? So that's part of it. My whole teaching, we got to show them. We can't just tell them. We got to show it.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, appreciate that. So, what's the support, been like here in Temple community for you, for your programs and for the different things. I think I saw a while back you had like was it a 5K or some run or something or something?
Oh yeah.
So just trying to ask you what is the support, been like for you here in the Temple community?
Respect is super high. I'm highly respected, but support is little to none. And I'm not even mad at them, because when you're trying to reprogram the kids, you got to realize they come from parents that's programmed. You know what I'm saying? So so like my biggest thing is, man, I stopped getting upset and taking things wrong when I started realizing that we all at different points in our life. I used to, when I first woke it up or whatever, I started like, man, you're crazy if you do Christmas. You crazy. And I wanted to put my opinions on everybody else and start realizing that, oh, you used to do the same thing 3 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So I had to realize that now we all at different points. And so I became more understanding. So like the school didn't work because, like I said, I spent over $100,000 of my own money, and I just couldn't do that no more. And I wasn't getting the financial help. And it was a couple of churches. If I would have made it more religious based, I probably would have got more help from them. And if I wasn't so raw and connected to the streets, I probably would have got more help from the business world or whatever. Or maybe I need to learn how to ask for help better too. Like it was a lot of lessons for me because I never did anything like that. You know what I'm saying? It was just a dream and a vision. But I started realizing early that the politics of it, I don't like. That's what I realized. I don't like nonprofits. Even though Changing the Narrative is my nonprofit, I'm getting a whole team to run that because I'm too hands-on and I'm too straight up. You know what I'm saying? Nonprofit, you got to kind of be, you got to be part of the club to really get them checks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't want them checks like that. I can get mine out the stock market or coming up with products or other ways. So that's just me learning how to become a better leader or a better visionary or stuff like that. But the support is not there, but the respect is. So I think it's not that they don't want to support. A lot of people they're not used to that. A lot of us, when we do kid stuff, like we'll pay for like sports, football, basketball, but everything else, the system kind of gives us for free. So if you got a black man saying, well, I need y'all to pay to teach your kids some entrepreneurship, or I need you to pay for this, we don't really want to do that. We want it all free. You know what I'm saying? So that's a part of, I have to raise my value up to let them understand why it costs to do this. And then I got like about 10 kids. Well, I had like 70 registered before I shut the House of Resource down, but I got 10 that I'm steady in contact with now. And my thing is now is just showing, improving, and really building these kids up, and really showing that this is why I took them, and this is why it costs. I can't do nothing for free, and not even that I don't want to. Not that I can't. I'm just not going to, because if I'm trying to break the mindset of the way we've been programmed, that free stuff is part of the breaking of it. I need you, like the way I pour into kids, I need you to be like, you know what? I'm willing to give you $25, $50 a month because I see the value in you. And if I can't find that parent, I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? Right. If you can't see the value that I'm going all in for your youth, I can't pour into nobody that ain't pouring back into me. And that's what I tell my kids now. Like, you got to give me the energy, you got to give me the mindset, and you got to pour back into me too. You can't just want me to save you when you get in trouble with the schools or something like this, and you trying to use me. Oh, Mr. Johnson, no, don't do that. Call me when you're doing good. Don't call me when you messed up, because I already told you not to mess up. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt, no doubt.
It's just about raising the standards and making sure we all hold each other accountable to be better. And if you can't be better, get away. And this is one thing I had to learn. I'm going to squeeze this in there. I had to realize that 30, 40, maybe even more, I'm going to just be, cautious. I'm going to say 30, 40% of our community, I can't worry about. And I had to realize that. And it hurts to say that, you know what I'm saying? But it's just a part of our community that don't want nothing better. It is what it is. And it sounds rough and it sounds crazy, but it is what it is. And maybe later they will, maybe as they see us do better things, you know what I'm saying? Maybe it'll change, but I have to realize that. And I sleep better now that I realize some people don't even want to change. They'll use you. They'll take all the free stuff you got, but they ain't trying to change it all.
No, they ain't trying to change. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And just a word out there to my viewers, whether y'all watching it now or you catch the replay, I appreciate it. You just hit that like, share, and subscribe. The link is strolling across the bottom of the screen, or the link is in the description. Subscribe to Wizzo Talk. You just never know what you're going to get here on Wizzo Talk. And I'm always looking to interview just different people, and I'm always looking for guests. So you like to be a guest on Wizzo Talk, by all means, hit me up at Paul Wizzo on Facebook, or send me a message here on the YouTube or something like that, and we'll get you squared away. All right, Tom. So I heard you talk about, the land that you own in Africa. So I just want to know, how did that come about, or what was that process like? Because, you can tell somebody, hey, I own land in Africa, whatever, and they'd be like, what? You own land in Africa? Yeah. And I know another person that said this too, that he's looking to retire in Africa. But just ask you, what was that process like? How did you come about, purchasing some land in Africa?
The big homie, JT, the bigger figure, man. He's from San Francisco. He's a Bay legend. He was one to help Master P record some of his first songs out there in the Bay. But me and him real connected. But he had moved to Africa for like some years. Like he moved back now, but he was over there for some years. And when he was over there, he started buying just acres and acres. And so he started reaching out to a lot of the homies like, hey, man, I just bought 5 acres. You want in on this? You know what I'm saying? So that's how I did it, because I had somebody actually on the ground over there that I could trust. You know what I'm saying? Because, it's a lot of scams. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. So I got that just because the big homie moved over there and tapped in, and we started shipping cocoa butter and all. We started doing all that process. So we had a whole bunch of stuff coming back and forth, man. But I'm really going back and forth about selling it now. But we'll see how they go.
Right. Okay, that's what's up, man. I mean that's something, because this other guy I know, like I say, he's going to retire. I think he said he lived to see it in 5 or 10 years, and he's already checking out some land and some things over there. And when you look at TV, sometimes they just want to show you the bad parts.
Oh no, yeah,
Africa, man, is
Africa is beautiful. Of course, it's bad parts because it's white supremacy. That's what. And see, that's what I tell people. A lot of people like, I'm gonna move to Africa to get away. You can't outrun white supremacy. They run it. I don't care where you go. Over there, they might be Chinese or something, but it's still white supremacy.
No doubt.
Yeah. So now, and I'm kind of like the opposite. Well, I was thinking like him. But now I'm thinking different. That's why I say I'm thinking about selling, because now I take more pride in being a Black American than I used to. I used to be more, I guess, I ain't gonna say Pan-African, but I was on that same tip. Yeah. And now the more I learn, the more knowledge I get, and the more I understand, I'm like, nah, my ancestors built this country. It wasn't no America before. My ancestors got here. We built this. This our shit. You know what I'm saying? But they try to trick us to act like we foreign. No, we not foreign. And then I have a lot of partners that's doing the African. They be like, well, that's what everybody came from Africa. It's white people everybody came from Africa. So we all can say that. Of course, we got ancestors from there, but we had an ethnogenesis. And our people been here 500, 600, 700 years. And this is my land. I'm not going. I ain't going. I'm not from. I don't know nobody from Africa like that.
Oh, that's what's up, man. Already.
American, you know what I'm saying?
Totally, man. I'm tell you something. I have like 3 more questions for you, but bro, I really appreciate your time and taking the time out. And when I asked you how long you had, you say I'm here. And I was so glad, because sometimes people tell me they got an hour or they only got this, and then I be having to shuffle the questions and get it. But you let me get through everything and a couple extras. So I appreciate your time for that, man. So
I appreciate you, man. Salute to you, man. I love what you're doing, man.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, so now I'm gonna ask this question. I know there's probably a lot of things, and there's probably many to choose from, but I'm going to ask you for just one. So when you look at everything you've done so far, what's the one thing you're most proud of? I mean, it's probably a few, but just if you could just tell me just one thing that you're most proud of and why.
Building the mindset that I got, working on myself and building my mind to where it's got to today. And still we got a lot of growing to do, but being raised in Bartlett, being in Temple, the way I think and my vision and the things that I got my hands into and the investments and all that, we not taught none of that stuff. That was my brother. My brother said, man, he quit his job about 3 years ago. He's like, I don't know where you got it from, but you got me like this. We don't have this. We don't have no, nobody that we can look up to be like, or uncle such and such, or grandpa this, or, we don't have that. So I don't know where I got it from. 20 years ago, I was crazy. My mom told me to just get a job, but I was thinking like this 20 years ago. I didn't know exactly how I was going to do it or how to do it, but I've been like that. So just working on myself and keeping the confidence in myself. The nights when it was just me, when you know what I'm saying, when the nights when you damn near want to cry and you broke and you trying to stay away from that life, but that's really all you got, and that's what I talk, and that's why I'm so understanding when it comes to street guys, and a lot of guys jump on them and, well, go get a job and go do this. Man, you go talk to a lot of these guys at their job, man. Them guys just about to stress they are ready to do something crazy they damn self. You know what I'm saying? Like, so so instead of being judgmental, we got to be understanding. Of course, it might be a way that you wouldn't have chose, but the way you chose might be a way that they might not have chose. You know what I'm saying? And I tell people every day, that's why I got 1,000 hustles. Like, if everything stopped today, I would have to go straight to the business. If I got an option of street life or work, I'm gonna be in the streets, and that's me being honest. And this is why I can relate to the kids. I'm not gonna lie to them like I'm just this golden figure or this best person ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I woke up one day and wanted to be a better black man, and that's why I wake up every day trying to be a better black man. But hey, I'm still in this trap too. I done made a way where I'm not in it like most of us, because I built up portfolios and I built up certain things, but hey, I'm still in the ground. I'm still in the hustle too, man. So I just being understanding that, that my mind, the way I think and process information, how calm I am, how I think under pressure, just all those things together, just basically. So I would just say my mindset, the way I have built my mind to think and operate.
All right, that's what's up, man. Respect that also. So what I'm doing right now, I'm gonna show you a couple of things, and then if you can just talk to us and tell us about them. And then I got one final question after that. And so I guess it's not me bragging, but it's just me just showing some love and support.
Hey, that's what's up, man.
I got it right here. When I saw that come online, I got my skill. And look, I'm telling you, I haven't even opened this yet.
Yeah. But you got it.
I got it. I got it because of you. I know you, and I believe in the things that you're doing, and I don't just talk no shit or whatever. I go on and rock with it, support. Yeah. And I got a couple of shirts or whatever, and you showed me on the page or whatever, wear one, and I hadn't wore the white one that I got yet, But I like for you to talk to us about this Rick Ross tire cleaner, and I know it's a couple of other things. And I saw when you posted this, it was a couple of other sizes that you had.
Well, no, that's the size of the tumblers, and I got some mugs, like coffee mugs.
Okay.
Yeah. And so then I got like the regular just cups. So I
saw you doing those cups when you was at Rick Ross' place.
Yeah.
So just tell us a little bit about this, and then tell us a little bit about when you was at Rick Ross' place and with that.
Man, it's just me marketing, man. It's just marketing, building up the brand, getting the brand recognized on all different things. So, but I've been branding forever. I've been having Real and Real, that's my music company. I've been having cups and shirts and stuff forever. So I understand when you're trying to get yourself out there to the world, you have to brand. A lot of us we get on here and we post and we'll do but we don't understand about the billboards. Like somebody wearing a hat or a shirt, that's a walking billboard for you. You know what I'm saying? So I do all that because it's a lifestyle. That's my main thing about, and it goes back to these kids. Like, I can just say wealth is gangster and try to run it like a business, but I'd be more impactful money wise and community wise if it's a lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Instead of, like the kids, they want a shirt or they want a hat or something because it's part of I'm part of Wealth is Gangster, not because it's a company, because what it means. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I just about branding and all that. The Rick Ross, that's just me, man. I shout out to Lex, shout out to Papa Zoe. A lot of Rick Ross got a solid team, man, and that's how I got to the table with him, because I'm building with his team. We haven't officially put no business together yet, but we working on it. It's at that point where, we have them weekly conversations and you stay in touch. We building that rapport. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So that's what it was, man. And I went out there to the mansion, man, and kicked it. We put some stuff down on what some potential moves could look like. It's building Wealth is Gangster as a TV network, and a few other things with the barbecue sauce and all that. But this right here, this is me just showing love. And this is what I'm trying to teach a lot of my youngsters, because a lot of people, when you're in a better position, somebody come to you, they try to figure out what you can do for them. And you got to realize, when you go to the person in a better position, you need to tell them what you can do for them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's how you get to them tables. So me doing this is just love. He not Rick Ross, but his partner Jeremy too, because a lot of people be just saying Rick Ross detailing and all that. Yeah. Jeremy is the CEO that did the deal with Rick Ross. So Jeremy is a black man. He in Houston. He played in the NFL for like 2-3 years. And then he started detailing, and he came out with this, and he met Rick Ross, and Rick Ross just helped him take off. So I always want to shout out Jeremy, because a lot of people just be skipping over him, because Rick Ross is a bigger name. He don't take it personal, but I want to shout him out. But this is just me showing that I can bring value. Like the store in Austin, the closest store around here is in Round Rock in Austin.
Right.
So I started driving down there, picking them up, like the one I gave you. I drove down there personally, and I know you said you wasn't carrying, and I sold it to the same price. Well, really, I sold it cheaper because I ain't charging you no tax.
Damn.
But what I'm showing is, when a person in that position see, man, this guy down here doing his own thing, he's driving 30-40 minutes to go pick up some at a loss, or at a break even, or really at a loss. Like, that's just me adding value. And then the store that I went to in Austin said I was the first person that bought some out of that store. Ever since I posted that, they've been selling. So that's me showing that I can bring value to the team. Before we even talk about paperwork, before we even talk about money, show the person that's in a better position your value. So that's why I rep it. That's why I had it at the radio station. I shared it to them. They went crazy because I'm repping they stuff like I'm repping mine, and I ain't even got a check for this yet, because I just want to show. I just want to add value to them. So it's something that I understand about dealing with people that's wealthier. You need to show them what you can do for them. But it's another lesson to the people that's coming up under me. Quit asking for stuff all the time, and when you come to the table with somebody, tell them what you can do for them. Show them how you can help them get to a better position. So it's
no doubt. Now, the one you were just showing is different from mine. I just looked at mine. Mine is the high gloss tire shine. Which one is that you was just showing?
We got it all. This is just the soap. Like, if you just want to wash it, wash it with the soap. This is the interior.
Okay.
And then it's a leather interior. It's a high. You got it's the wheel cleaner right here. I think you just got the wheel shiner.
Yeah, that's what I got. Yeah.
So it's a whole kit. Like, you can get everything from the tires to the inside to the outside. Like, it's a whole thing, and you can get like it's like a buff. You know how you used to buff your stuff? It's like a gloss too. So they got it's a whole box, man. But they doing some big things, and this is part of us building industry. And this will me and the big homie Chemo be talking about a lot. A lot of us, we happy if we start a business, right? We like, I just got this storefront and I opened up a storefront. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when you talk about industry, we need, like right now, I'm about to start a cotton field, right? Because I'll be having, I got Wealth is Gangster hoodies, and this is the hoodie right here. These are pants. This feels great, right? Having my own hoodies and stuff like that. But I got to go buy the sweater, and then I get somebody to put this on there. But if I own the cotton field that produces the cotton, then we have our own factory that makes the cotton, turn it into the shirts and the hoodies. Then we have a truck that backs up to the building, and then we take it to our store. Now we own the whole distribution line.
Yeah.
And that's why I want our people to think bigger. It's cool to have a storefront, not knocking nobody with the storefront, but let's own the whole system. And I'm working on a book right now for the kids called "From the Seed to Your Plate." So I want to show you how to plant that seed all the way till it gets to your plate and you eat it. And we gotta understand those whole distribution lines. And I don't care if it's food, I don't care if it's clothing, I don't care if it's this. We need to get it to industry and really get to where the money is. Because by the time the clothes get to your store, you done missed out on the biggest profit. Now you trying to barely make it. You know what I'm saying? Because you missed all the money. So that's what I'm trying to bring that knowledge to our community. That man, now we got to own the cotton that makes these shirts, and we got to own the building that we take the cotton to and builds these shirts. Then we got to own the truck that backs up and loads up the shirts, and then we take them to our store. Now we own the whole process, and that's where I'm headed to.
No doubt, no doubt. And when you just mentioned truck, before I read my final question for you, I know there's one guy, black guy, he owns his own trucking company. And he went to go pick up a load. He shared it on Facebook or something. And they told him, well, we can't load that on that particular type of truck. We have to see what the owner say. He told him, he said, well, I am the owner. Load that shit up. I say, damn, that feels good right there.
Yeah.
So
real.
I'm supposed to interview him one day, but with him driving and moving around, we hadn't got to it. But when you said truck, that made me just think of that.
Nah, for real, we gotta own it, man. We gotta own the whole system, man. And they not used to that. They thought he was just working for somebody else, just driving.
Yeah. They didn't know he owned the deal. And I over our conversation, this is my last question, but I'm gonna just say this first because JW just put up a 100, and I know he's in this deal just like you are. Entrepreneur, don't want to work, want to own his own. I mean, he's out there, he's doing things, got an app. And it's a whole list, but I'm not gonna get on that because we're talking with you. But this is my final thing right here for you, Tony. And then after that, you can share whatever you want, and then we'll close it out here. So, and I even wrote it like this. I said, in my final, what do you say to people who doubt you? The ones saying, man, he's crazy if he think he's going to accomplish anything here in Temple. So what do you say to all your doubters out there? The people that's doubting you.
Man, probably about 20 years ago, I took it a lot harder. But I would tell them, the main thing I would tell them, go talk to the people that's been doubting me for the last 20 years. You know what I'm saying? And I understand why they doubted. And I got this from Jay-Z, right? He was like, my uncle used to tell me, you can never go platinum, right? His Jay-Z uncle used to tell him that you'll never go platinum. And a lot of us will take that as all my uncles hating, but he's not really hating, because if your uncle has never been to that side of the world, that's foreign to him. So of course he don't think, like if I talk about being a billionaire, somebody that's trying to make it this week, like, man, you crazy. You know, billionaire coming from no Temple. We can't even find $100 laying around nowhere. So I understand. Right. But it's my job to make them understand. And that's why I just keep doing. That's why I put out the coloring books. That's why I put out this. That's why you see me at the table with the Rosses, and like, man, this gotta be the new normal of Temple. And that's the new a movement that I'm gonna put it here. I haven't put it out yet, but it's gonna be starting soon, is Temple Rich. Right. And I know you're a little older, so I know you don't listen to like the little raps and stuff, but Dallas got a little movement called the New Dallas, right? And what they doing is it's the youngsters that's coming around like, nah, we're not gonna be fighting no more. We're not gonna be beefing. We're gonna all come together and make this money. So that's the new mindset of the new generation of Dallas rappers coming up, instead of all the fighting and beefing. So when the Temple Rich is the same thing. Like, I want people from Temple to realize we can be just as wealthy, we just as talented. We just don't have that understanding and that know-how. Like, other than just a job or sports, that's all we know. That's all we've been taught. And in a lot of ways, Temple's still like in the 90s. We still behind because we still just work in sports. We don't have a lot of people. And then if you look around here, it's businesses, it's only barbershops. You know what I'm saying? There's no other businesses that you can walk into that's a black established. It's people that cook like me and stuff like that. But like establishments that you can do, and a salute to Tony Nori. He doing this holistic stuff. But we don't have a lot of businesses that you can really just grab onto and make a part of your life. So I understand when people doubt me. I would just say I understand. I would say get your knowledge up, get your understanding up, because if you get your knowledge and understanding up, what I'm saying might not sound as crazy. It only sounds crazy because you never heard it before, you never seen it before, and you don't understand how it's gonna be done. You know what I'm saying? Like when I talk about being a billionaire, most people, especially around here, would like, ain't no way. But I can break it down to you, easy math. You know what I'm saying? How you can do it. You know, so I'm just understanding why they think like that, and it's my job to show them why you can even be rich. The person that's doubting, I want to show them how they can be rich.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then they won't think I'm so crazy if I can show you how to do it.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this, and then I'll let you say anything you want to do in closing. My oldest son, he has this app and whatever he be doing and whatever he say, come on over here and get this. We all can eat. We it's enough for us all to eat. So
it's trillions of dollars going around, and where we from, we used to always say money don't grow on trees, right?
Yeah.
And I started saying a couple of years ago when I started realizing, I'm like, money do grow on trees. It's just not where we from. You know what I'm saying? Because it's actually people in this world that don't know what to do. They got so much money, they don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
See, that's foreign to us. So we don't. You trying to find your little extra $500 or $50? You know what I'm saying? You can't imagine somebody that, like, there's one guy I was studying. All I do is study wealth. So one guy spent like $100 million over a weekend for a birthday party. We can't imagine that. Like what? You know what I'm saying? Hey, our budget is a tight little 150, and that might be. You know what I'm saying? You might ask a family member for 20 on that. You know,
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm trying to connect those worlds. There's the stuff that I thought was crazy too. The more I study, like, it's really not that crazy. We just don't have an understanding because we never seen it. So my thing is, when I talk to the Rosses and when I talk about we finna do movies, we finna do fashion shows, I'm finna do all that stuff right here in Temple. Temple ain't known for none of that. Film and movie, we're gonna have our own little Tubi industry. We're gonna have our own little fashion. I might find the next model from Temple. I might find the next best actor from Temple. And that's the industries that I'm about to do. So a lot of people, if you don't understand, if you doubt, just keep watching. But when you start seeing it happen, come out and be a part of it. Don't keep hating when you see it happen. Come on, because it's all love. I ain't gonna be mad at you. I know you didn't believe in me last year, but it's all right. Come get your movie spot or something. You know what I'm saying? I still might help you blow up. You know what I'm saying?
I heard that. That's what's up. So you knocked out everything that I've had. All the questions, man. So I just want to say, is there any meat left on the bone that you want to get off? Anything else you want to share with anyone before we get up out of here?
Man, you know me. I talk for a living when it comes to like us as a people becoming better, building wealth. So, I mean, it's always stuff I can talk about. But as far as this interview now, I just want to come on, chop it up with you, connect, and just start putting more of me out. Because a lot of times I'll be coming like on different podcasts is for me to tell my political point of view, or you know what I'm saying, and which is cool because I'm all them wrapped in one. And you know what I'm saying. But I want people to get to understanding me, because I have a lot of people that might be wrong by the things I say or do. But if you know me, you'd be like, oh, I get where he's coming from. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's important for people to get to know you. So if I post something about Trump or something, you're gonna be like, oh, he a coon.
Yeah.
You really know Tony. You know Tony for us. He might think different on this situation or something. You know what I'm saying? So that's my whole thing. Like you might. I'm thinking outside of the box because I want us to start winning. We've been losing forever. So to me, you have to think outside of the box. Right. And I don't want to think the way I've been thinking, because to me, that's a losing strategy. So my whole thing is I'm just trying to get people to understand me a little bit more. And I appreciate this platform and you asking me the question you did, because that taps into who I am instead of just, of course, the business and the stuff I post. You get to know me a little bit more. Then you'll understand why I'm doing all this stuff, or why I might look like a madman or a crazy man, but you'll understand the purpose behind it. So I appreciate you. And I love where you came when we first, when we first connected. You was kind of lost, and now you over here, you over here consistent. You over here dropping these jewels. You over here with this consistent content. Like I said, big homie that took off. You know. Hey, posting them numbers up, you know what I'm saying? Showing them those stats and stuff. I see you. I see you.
Man. I'm having fun. I'm having fun and enjoying it, man. But because me and you, we go way back, like we said earlier, over there in to Killeen, and I wanted this to be solely about you. So I was at work and I was thinking of just different questions or whatever, and just like I said, I was writing them down, and I didn't want to get into the politics. You and I, we got some disagreements on something, but I know where you stand and I know who you are, and we can have those tough conversations. And in the end, hey, shit, I'm gonna still rock with you, support you, and do whatever, because I know, but we all ain't gonna never agree. But I didn't want to put no politics into this podcast. I wanted about you.
Yeah, and that's what'll build us up as a stronger community, because we'll fall out over politics, we'll fall out over religion, we'll fall out over everything, and at the end of the day, we all still at the bottom. And we, what I'm saying, we got to understand how to not agree on certain things and be like, man, that guy's solid. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us have a disagreement, man. Fuck him, fuck dang, just because y'all have a disagreement.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's another teaching, just us saying that's teaching our community how you can be in two different worlds and certain things, but understand that person is a good person at heart, and we just have different visions on certain things. You know what I'm saying? Because I know how you feel, but I know you want our community to be better too. You know what I'm saying? And you know how I feel, and I want the community to be better. So we both understand the end part. We might just disagree on certain things, but that's okay. It's okay. And what I tell a lot of guys, because I do business with a lot of Black people, and we go in and out of business. But I'm so understanding because, like I always tell them, I said we didn't have the uncles and the dads and the big homies to teach us how to deal with each other when we have disagreements. So we still kind of individualize. So if we get into it, man, fuck him, fuck. You know what I'm saying? We go about our business and not understanding now, man. You know how many other cultures can't stand each other, but they still sit at the table and break bread and build together. You ain't got to agree with everything, but we take it so personal. We think you got to agree with everything or good to me, and that's something we got to throw away. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. With that being said, don't say, look, man, we still, I know you was talking about my numbers of throwing up and dropping this. Hey, we still learning, man. I be blowing my son up. I be asking somebody how to do this, how to do that. But hey, we getting there, and I remember you was posting a lot too, at one time.
Yeah, I'm about to get to it. I'm just like I'm going from like the podcasting to actually trying to turn Wealth is Gangster to a network where you got a such and such show on Monday night. So you know what I'm saying? So we actually building a network and trying to get all that. So we about to get more consistent. We just got to figure out the lineup, and when we say this the lineup, we got to be able to go. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So we put it together. It's definitely hard with me sometimes to get guests on, and then some of them don't show up, and then they leave me hanging or whatever. But hey, sometimes the show go on, but I just don't roll with that title. I may change it up a little bit. But we're talking about. With that being said, my brother, hey, I appreciate you again for coming on Wizzo Talk. Hey, you'll be a guest again, I'm sure. Probably catch you up in the barbershop or something like that, where we all agree and we'll disagree, but in the end, it ain't nothing but love.
All love. You already know.
With that being said, bro, I appreciate you wholeheartedly.